A huge thanks to Brian for sponsoring this video. Good morning, fellow mathematicians, welcome back to another video. Today, completely different type of video, and if you were wondering why I still haven't uploaded anything in about a month, my studio that I'm preparing right now is most certainly the biggest reason for that. In today's video I'm just going to voice over the whole thing, just completely freely, not scripted. And what you can witness right now is we are getting rid of the mess that was this studio, this just basement room where Andrew was living in all this time. We just packed everything that I had in my old studio into this room, and yeah, I never really touched it. And this right here is obviously Hannah. She's so goddamn cute. Yeah, and after about half an hour, we were basically done getting everything out of the room. And then it was time to install the lighting, which was fairly straightforward. The only problem was that I had most of my tools that I needed for this process at my workshop. So I just improvised and used a knife as a screwdriver and all of this stuff. And then I was boring holes into the concrete ceiling, which is always kind of a challenge and takes a bit of a good tool, like you can see here. It's an impact hammer, basically, and yeah, you have to put a lot of pressure onto the hole hammer such that you can get the holes into the ceiling, but it's fairly straightforward. I'm going to encounter situations like this more often during the video series, and everything else was, pretty easy to do. Just hammering in the good old dübel and then screwing in the lighting and just putting all the cables into the right contact point, N and L for blue and red, I think, respectively. I'm not good with colors, sorry.
And God wrote out the Maxwell's equations and said, let there be light. Hopefully. Yes! Nice. Perfect.
And with that out of the way, I could continue preparing the room. First thing I had to do was get rid of this styrofoam stuff. I'm not very certain what it is exactly, but it's there for thermal contraction. So over time, materials just tend to expand and retract if you have, for example, heat being introduced to the whole system, and this little barrier that goes into the floor is just there for it, such that you don't crack the walls of your house, which would not be good. You find the same thing on bridges, so if they thermally expand and the like, you have those. If you drive over them with a car, you notice this too. And here I'm trying to drag my pillar of my blackboard around, and the center of mass is so fucked with those.
Oh, damn it. My feet. That really hurts. Well, let's keep going. Those are the messes mounted to the whole thing, and there are two in there for each and every blackboard front. So 4 of those in total, and they weigh a lot, and they slide around, and they were only in the bottom part, and everything fell down and it really hurt. But I will survive it, hopefully. Let's try to drag this one over there such that we have a bit more space down here in Andrew's basement.
And if you don't want to miss out on how the studio is going at the moment, why not follow me over on Instagram, link down in the description. Flammy's Wood is my handle. Takes a while to produce those videos because I have to renovate the whole studio. So yeah, if you want to stay updated via pictures, how the progress is going on at the moment and everything, then yeah, follow me on Instagram over there. And then everything that was really left to do at the moment was cleaning, and then later on in the game I decided to drag those showcases out and also my pillars, because I needed to seal the floor.
Okay, let us seal the floor. Oh my goodness, the acoustics down here are amazing. I should immediately record videos down here, that would be freaking perfect, I suppose. Those are the wrong gloves, I forget the ones. Never mind.
And sealing the floor once again is pretty straightforward. You just take a paintbrush, paint roller, I don't know. And then you are just going to rub it into the floor. And the first part that you were able to see there, the gray stuff, was so-called Tiefengrund. It basically just drips into the pores of the concrete and seals everything. And then I was moving on with the darker stuff that you see here, which is kind of like epoxy resin. It's just liquid plastic that you rub into the floor such that you get a nice and smooth surface. And later, way later in the game, we are going to also sand the whole floor with an 80 to 120 grit on my random orbiter such that we get a nice and shiny floor overall. Yeah, it's gonna take a while too. Next, we continue with the drywall work, and this is gonna be a big part of the whole process because I didn't want to use the original walls. I wanted to shrink the room a tiny little bit, and I wanted to just have an easy time screwing stuff into the walls later with just regular drywall screws and the like. So I decided to start framing at first. When I still built my garden shed that you can find over on Flammy's Wood 2 on my other channel, I still had a lot of profiled wood left. This right here is just pine, and I decided to use this because profiled wood just has the same thickness overall at all times. And yeah, I just hammered those into the wall too, and this is basically everything that goes into framing the whole thing. And I placed them with a distance of about 50 centimeters overall, because the drywalls are going to be 60 centimeters in width. And this was like the best setting. I measured everything out, and attaching those to the wall was as straightforward as attaching the lamp to the ceiling. So yeah, you can watch me do this right here.
So I stumbled across a concrete pillar. There are a few in total inside of this wall, and basically they are right next to the windows. Same thing over there, and I was drilling right into those. It's pretty hard to get into those. I was trying to find a weak spot where this other type of concrete is, like the very porous one, what most of the walls are made out of, but I couldn't get through. But then I sunk another doodle into the wall, and now it should work out. Now I don't have this weird dent or bow inside of the wood, and I can continue framing the wall. That's a bit of effort, but I will manage, I suppose. Yay! Framing the first wall is done. At least half of it. I need to frame it up until the ceiling. But first layer done. That is awesome. Now I'm going to measure how much I need to cut off, such that I can fill it. I'm going to mark each and every part such that I know where it belongs where. And yeah, then I'm going to get to cutting and putting it onto the wall, yada yada yada. A lot of work, but it's gonna be worth it, hopefully. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. First time doing shit like that. And this already concludes the first episode in, I would say, 3 or 4 on the studio renovation. And we are making good progress. We have done the floor, we started framing the wall. So next episode we are going to cut the upper parts to size, and we are going to do a bunch of woodworking too at my shop, and especially we are going to do the whole drywall thing. And before we end today's video, I would like to thank once again Brilliant for sponsoring today's episode. If you are wondering why Brilliant could be a good sponsor for this kind of video, then I can actually tell you a few instances where mathematics or physics and the like are actually useful in environments like home improvement and something of that sort, even woodworking. So just take a look at an easy number theory exercise. We did a partition of the wall basically. What we did is we did some equal partitions here, 50 centimeters apart from each other. We were placing wood at the wall. And now you could ask yourself the question, or maybe your students, if you are a teacher like me, how many of those pieces of wood can you place at the wall? Then they can divide the whole length of the wall by the partitions basically, and also the thickness of the boards, and then they are going to get a certain answer. And things like these are actually interesting in the context of how you can place the drywall at your wall. How many do you need to buy such that you can buy the least amount of drywall, for example. You don't want to spend too much money, you want to buy just the right amount, for example. And this is just an instance where number theory can come into play when it comes to home improvement. Same thing I did was with Papa Pythagoras in an episode over on my woodworking channel, and I'm going to make use of Pythagoras in here too when it comes to calculating areas and the like. And Brilliant is actually your source for also studying all kinds of basic mathematics and higher mathematics on a very tangible basis, on a very intuitive basis. Just like we did here, I can touch the wood, I can play around with it, and you can do so too over on Brilliant. Brilliant is your source for some of the best online learning content out there on the internet. Really doesn't matter if you want to learn something in number theory, just like I said a second ago, calculus, integrals, calculating areas. Maybe also you want to do some physics or chemistry, or no matter what it is you think about learning in the STEM field, Brilliant definitely got something up the sleeve for you. And if you decide to try out Brilliant today by using my link down there in the description, you're going to notice quickly that all of their courses, be it the mathematics courses, physics courses and the like, are based on visuals, graphics that you can play around with, that you can use your own 2 hands on to get a better grasp of the exercise at hand. And this is the beauty of Brilliant actually. They make it very tangible and user-friendly to understand a new topic that you haven't heard anything of before, or maybe brush up on old things that you have learned once but totally forgotten. And they are very good at what they are doing. And if you don't trust me, if you don't want to take my word for it, why not try it out for yourself by using my link at the top of the description, brilliant.org/flammblemass. With it, you're going to get 20% of an annual premium subscription if you actually make use of the link. But if you just want to try it out, if you want to see for yourself if it could be something for you, you can already test out a big portion of Brilliant for completely free by using my link down there in the description. So definitely make sure to check it out and support the channel this way. And this, as mentioned before, concludes today's episode, the first one. And I can't wait to get this whole room done in the next time. It's gonna be a lot of fun working in here once it's done. So yeah, I hope you did enjoy this other kind of video too. And up at the next video, I wish you guys a flammable day. See ya!